we are here to shed light on another fan favorite, Space Ishtar. Really breaking the walls down with this one, huh guys? She can be summoned as an Avenger or an Archer. As far as her origin goes, she is a joint collective of goddesses that appear in the parallel universe of Saber Wars 2. All of these goddesses taking refuge in Rin Tosaka's body. Her first form is the Phoenician goddess Ashtoreth, or her equivalent Astarte. Her second form is the Servant Universe version of Ishtar, and her third and final form is a combination between the two, with their power downsized enough to fit inside the servant container. A reimagining of her true form as a primordial goddess known as Ishtar Ashtoreth. Now, despite that being the case, she is still eons ahead in terms of strength. So during this parallel universe, or the servant universe as we know in the story, there is a forbidden area known as the primordial region. This is where Ashtoreth comes from. Turns out, the people in the Saber Wars universe have transcended into being servants, and the primordial region was a gateway that acted as a space between the original. 2,000 years ago, this region had many goddesses, and Ashtoreth is one of the final deities to survive, gaining the unique title Goddess of Origin. Originally, she was one of the strongest beings in that verse, but she ended up being taken down by a master and his 8 powerful servants. She was then separated into 2 halves, Ashtoreth being the heart and Ishtar being the body. Ashtoreth, who was raised up to be evil, sought out to obtain her original body once again. Now for her first skill, we have independent action. When you take a look over into the servant universe, the human race has become borderline extinct, and servants have turned into the new normalcy. Considering the fact that she's a goddess who doesn't need mana to manifest, she does not have to rely on having a master. Her next skill is Divine Core of the Goddess, which expresses a combination of skills that showcase her divine background and her ability to repel all mental attacks. By inheriting her divine core, Ishtar now has access to the power of the equivalent goddesses that came before her, such as Anat and Astarte, both of them being goddesses of fertility and war. Oblivion Correction is a skill that belongs specifically to the Avenger class. It plays a distinct role against a person's memory. The further her target is from her time of birth, the more likely it is that she can use this against them and get a boost in her strength. She has the skill SelfReplenishment mana, which is pretty straightforward. We've seen this from servants like Jalter and Edmund Dantes. During the battle, she will constantly be gaining back magical energy until her problem is resolved. The Avenger skill, coming in at the highest level, rank EX. So similar to Ishtar releasing the Bull of Heaven on all the people in her lore, Astarte was also someone who brought great divide among her people due to her anger. In fact, Astarte was one of the same goddesses that brought ruin to the servant Solomon due to him helping his mistresses bring her worship when God strictly told him not to do so. Since she has now been summoned to Chaldea with the good side, she has decided to shoulder the blame for her past transgressions. Originally, the name Astarte was something that came from the Old Testament and stood for goddess of fertility, but as the time progressed, the people of the West demonized the name into the moniker Astaroth, the new counterpart being regarded as the devil. For personal skills, you have Devil's Sugar, which is a skill that allows her to borrow enticement that is on par with the devil himself without her succumbing to it. It is a charm and a kiss that is blown out to her allies that provides them with a charisma boost. The boost itself is a combination between her goddess origin for victory and a demon's intention to destroy others. The skill Venus Driver is yet another move that derives from her taking on the strengths of prior goddesses. It is an amplifier that allows her to give an increase to her already ridiculously powerful noble phantasm. It is also free to make changes to the attributes of that phantasm. The skill Multiple Sterling is a crown that symbolizes Ishtar keeping true to her original goddess form with as little setbacks as possible. The rank comes in at EX. Now again, her first form, Ashtoreth, is the good side that was raised up to be evil by the dark Mune Nori in Saber Wars. While she's in this form, she is highly skilled in swordsmanship, being one of the few servants that can maintain 2 katanas at the same time. She's shown us a remarkable amount of speed, being able to slash the enemy before they even know that she's pulled the sword from the sheath. In addition to this, she can slash enemies with telekinesis by using the Force, or she can shoot them down with her own high-grade blast. Her second half, Space Universe Ishtar, is her evil side that was raised up to be good by the space archaeologist Tokiomi. In this variation, she is slightly less skilled in swordsmanship, but only as a trade-off for her gaining advantage to range capabilities. She is efficient at both pistol and rifle and can shoot bullets that change their trajectory and energy beams respectively. In the event that she opts for pulling out her sword, she can also put out sword energy waves. Her final form, Ishtar Ashtoreth, focuses mainly on energy manipulation, being able to fight with an orb that does several different attacks of her choosing. Giant energy balls, multiple energy beams, she can even use telekinetic energy swords. The works. If it ever came to a scenario where she got bored of this style, she can use the orb itself entirely and create an armor that will give a boost to her physical capabilities. And finally, you have her noble Phantasm, Eden Shugra Quasar. The rank comes in at EX, which, as I mentioned before, will also receive a boost from Venus Driver on top of that. It can target as little as 10,000 people, and even this is subject to change depending on her mood. During the Phantasm, she will begin to summon the temple Bel Mana from the Servant Universe, a location that was carved out of high-dimensional spirits. She will then use the entire Milky Way galaxy converted into energy and shoot a blast through space itself with an anti-planet noble Phantasm. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Shout out to all the patrons, and I will be back with more Tight Moon content. It is your boy Tsiah. I'm out.